Okay, we are officially doing this A to Z mini rework. My thoughts, ideas, changes, so on and so forth. So, next is Katarina, the Sinister Blade. So, she is damage magic, which, to be completely honest, I don't like. Style is 100% abilities with really no auto attacks. Also, very true. If you see her auto attack late game at all, she's hitting a minion. If she's hitting you, then there's something wrong. Difficulty 3, this is true, even though it doesn't seem like it when you're against her. But as playing her, this is very true. And then, she's 3 damage, 3 ability, or 3 movement, which is also very true. She has no utility. She is one of the squishiest champions in the game, and she has absolutely no crowd control in any way. Okay, decisive in judgment and lethal in combat, Katarina is a Noxian assassin of the highest caliber. Eldest daughter to the legendary General Ducatu. Sure, she made her talents known with swift kills against unsuspecting enemies. Her fiery ambition was driven her to pursue heavily guarded targets, even at the risk of endangering her allies. But no matter the mission, Katarina will not hesitate to execute her duty amid a whirlwind of serrated daggers. Okay, so let's go to her abilities. Passive ferocity, which is stupid. When an enemy champion dies that Katarina has damaged in the last 3 seconds, her ability cooldowns are reduced by 15 seconds. 15 seconds. If Katarina picks up a dagger, she uses it to slash through all nearby enemies, dealing magic damage. Her main source of damage. Bouncing blade. Katarina throws a dagger that the target then bounces to nearby enemies before ricocheting. Oh, I think that's onto the ground. So basically, she throws it, she hits a few things, and then it lands on the ground. And she can pick it up to spin and do more damage. Her W, preparation. Katarina gains a burst of movement speed, tossing a dagger into the air directly above herself. Okay, Shunpo. Katarina blinks to the target, striking it if it's an enemy, or striking the nearest enemy otherwise. Huh. I didn't realize that, to be completely honest. And then we have Death Lotus. Katarina becomes a flurry of blades, dealing massive magic damage while she channels to the 3 nearest enemy champions. Okay, so this is after her rework. And before her rework was literally she would blink, she would have an ability where she spun in a circle, and to be completely honest, she'd basically be a hit your abilities and then alt champion. It was kind of stupid, and to be truthful, it still is pretty stupid, only before it was like her alt would melt everyone and like all of her abilities would do a lot of damage, but then her alt would just kill everything. Now her alt is still a good source of damage, but she herself is so much better. It's kind of ridiculous. To be completely honest, I think it is a bit stupid what she is capable of doing. Like her passive of spinning whenever she picks up a blade is the stupid part of it, because she can hit her W, throw the blade up into the air while gaining movement speed. She can then either throw her Q or already have thrown her Q and hit her W, and then she can E in on her Q, allowing her to or E in on you, allowing her to slash you and then spin around and automatically slash you, or going to her Q's dagger, slashing you because, apparently it allows her to attack the nearest thing too. Well, probably within a range, obviously, but still. And then she spins, dealing a lot of damage. And then, immediately after that, she can then use her E again to dash back to the other blade that she prepared with her W. And she's capable of doing this very easily. Now, besides that, her alt, really, it is very useful in the middle of a fight. But besides that, it's not useful at all. The only problem is, as I said, when she uses it in the middle of a fight, it is a very big deal because she will use. I've seen her use her ult multiple times within a singular fight, and that's like, in my opinion, is not the greatest of things. So I do have a few ideas for Katarina. One is very blunt, very to the point, and to be completely honest, I think it's really all that needs to be done to fix her. It is logical, it is calculated, and it is understanding, and it is give her a mana bar. Like, honest to God, that there are so, like, a lot of only cooldown champions are so stupid, and she is one of them. I don't necessarily, in a lot of cases, I don't think that like, it's fully necessary to do this. Like, there are a lot of other champions that I think, okay, they have a mana bar, or they don't have a mana bar, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But then there are these types of champions where I'm like, there's so much wrong with it. Like, especially what I would consider spam champions, and she is without a doubt a spam champion. Her sustain is very good because she can jump in and jump out so easily. Her AoE is so big. You know, you really don't think about how big her AoE is until you get hit by two of her blades, or your entire minion wave gets chunked because she Q'd and W'd and picked up both the blades. And, like, her abilities in themselves really don't do that much damage. Like, her E, when she jumps and slash to you, isn't that much at all. Her W doesn't do damage at all. Her Q barely does damage with each of the daggers hit, but it does do a reasonable amount early on, and you really don't notice it that much late. Her ult, yeah, that's going to hurt, but it's an ult. But, like, her spinning hurts consistently an insane amount throughout the entire game. Now, I will admit she is an assassin, so she does kind of fall into that assassin stereotype of, okay, you were good for the first 30 minutes of the game, but now you're not as good as you were before. But she still is capable of doing a lot of stupid stuff, and to be completely honest, I just think that she just really needs a mana bar. Like, I could not tell you what all of her ratios should be and how each ability should change. I cannot do all the math for that. Like, I guess I technically could, but I'm not. No, no, no. But, like, honestly, like, early game, she spams all of her abilities so much. Her Q really does actually have a sizable cooldown, so she can't really spam the dagger a ton. But at the same time, the amount of just times that you get hit by that dagger, or even if you don't get hit by the dagger, but it just sits there. And it just sitting there is the problem. Now, I will admit that originally when they reworked her, the main idea behind it, well, they mini reworked her, was to give her more predictability, which is true, because now like, before, she could shumpo to, like, anything. She could shumpo to a ward, to allies, to enemies, it didn't matter what. She could shumpo to anything. But now, it's most of the time where the dagger is where she's going to go, because where the dagger is where her damage comes from. So, like, this is true, but at the same time, so there is, like, a good amount of counterplay in essence of avoid the dagger. But at the same time, there are so many times where, you know, she just throws her Q at the minions, and the dagger lands to you, and you just don't have the movement speed, and then she just, like, she throws her W every time she throws out her dagger, and she just E's to you and E's to the dagger. Like, or she E's to the dagger, slashes you, and then E's away. It's so very easy, and, you know, she just spams it over and over and over again until you're low enough to kill, or she just kills you. There's been a lot of times where, like, the second I hit level 3, I'm getting insta-jumped on because I walked slightly too close to a dagger. And not only that, but, like, the range is not specified. And I understand that, you know, that I really do think that would be a bit too strong if they did like put a mini circle around each dagger that showed where, like, how far her slash range is, because then you know exactly where to stand. It's kind of like if you put a range for Heimerdinger turrets. Like, if everyone in the game could see him instead of just Heimerdinger, it'd be a bit of a problem because everyone would realize, oh, so if I stand here and throw my stuff, then I can kill the turret or avoid the turret a lot easier. But at the same time, it's just so difficult to really avoid it. And I don't think she's overpowered by any means, but at the same time, it is very annoying. And I think that, just adding a little bit of a mana bar could really fix a lot of her stuff. Now, I did say I have a few solutions, which I do have like one more, but it's a bit of like of a mini rework again, where just some changes, but I really don't find it necessary, to be completely honest. And it kind of makes her even more of a spam champion, but it's kind of like I would prefer it, honestly, if she was like AD, because this would make this idea a lot better per se. But basically, she would be able to like move around at the speed of light. Like, you'd never really, you'd have a somewhat of a predictability, but her damage would not be really that of an assassin's, to be completely honest. She'd probably, with this idea, she'd probably be more of like an ADC that's melee, that you don't realize it's melee. um, it'll kind of be like a sort of like a Kale, in essence, where one moment she'll be auto attacking, and then the next moment she's on top of your face slashing you. And what it was going to be more of a thing is her Q and her E would stay the same. Her passive would kind of change, and it would work with her auto attacks in an essence, um, allowing her to sort of like throw a dagger at you every like so many seconds, but also would just blatantly increase her attack damage or her ability power in some way, like adding a ratio to each of her auto attacks that is ability power. And the thing would be, it's actually be kind of a lot similar to New Kale, but yeah, she wouldn't have the W where she just like throws the dagger into the air. Instead, her W would actually probably, actually that would, like, her passive alone wouldn't be able to throw the dagger. That would be her W. Is like her next auto attacks would basically throw like multiple daggers. She just gained like a burst of like attack speed, and all of her auto attacks would also throw a dagger that would hit you, and then it would dash to a new area. And basically, and her alt would be more of like what her old spinning thing was, or what it currently kinda, like what her current passive is currently. I said current so many times there. Basically, she'd throw all these daggers around, and her alt would, when she clicked it, she would spin in a circle, kind of doing damage. It would be pretty similar to old Katarina, but yeah. So to the point where like she'd use her W, she'd auto attack from like a slightly increased range, and every auto attack would throw out like a little bit of a dagger, kind of like Zaya's passive currently. And then she'd be able to E, and her E would like dash you to she dashed to a specific area or one of her daggers, and for like every dagger she picked up, that would decrease her cooldowns by like a second or so, and it'd be kind of like just a mixture of what she already has. And then her alt would be more of like a spam thing, and she's going to the dagger, so she still have that predictability to an extent. And then she just kind of like spam her alt and spin in a circle and do some damage, and she just basically, her goal would be to just be jumping around you at all times, to be like constantly moving. Now, obviously, this we'd have to lower her individual, like her damages in essence, but it would kind of work as more of a slowly chip you down and kill you type of thing, where she's just moving around way too fast, way too much, and she's just doing a little bit of damage and a little bit of damage, and she whittles you down and just murders you. Now yet again, even to that, I'd still probably want a mana bar. That way, after she murders you, and then I'd maybe make it so that her passive, like not only does it give her a small amount of like magic damage, but it also will refund a small amount of mana for like every kill she gets instead of refunding cooldowns. And then, but like picking up a dagger is what would give her like a second off of cooldown for her ult, and some just random things. And for every target that's hit by her ult, lowers her W's cooldown by like 1 second. But her Q would basically be the same, but it would kind of like change the entire dynamic of her, which is the only problem that I really don't like, which is why I think just like doing the mana bar alone would be a better option. But basically, she'd hit her W, she'd become slightly ranged, she'd throw her daggers at you, and they wouldn't be like daggers in the essence of they'd hit you and then they'd land behind you. They'd hit you and then it would randomly go in some sort of direction. It wouldn't be based off of where she's standing or where you're standing. It basically is, it would just have, there'd be like 10 areas that it can land around you, 5 on each side. Kind of like a clock, but take away 2 seconds, or like make it so there's 10 hours every half day instead of 12, and it would randomly pick one of those times. And then it would be like that, where she's just dashing all around you, and then she'd use her Q more of a, so she wouldn't really have a huge escape route though. Like that's something that she'd really just have to like either go in, whittle you down, and then she'd have to like go to a blade that's deeper in, whittle you down, jump around you, and then go back to a blade that's farther out. And the way she'd get that blade is basically just a random chance from her W, or if she dashes to you, then throws her Q at you from the other angle, and the Q would actually land behind you. So it'd be similar to what she is now, but with a bit of a too big of a change to really call her the same champion, but too similar to be a new champion, to be completely honest. So it would be like a full-on rework. So yeah, I think honestly, just in essence, just give her a mana bar. Make it so that she just can't do all this stuff. As I said, she's really not insanely strong. She is one of my champions that really annoy me because I don't know, she just really angers me a lot of just her mobility and just being able to jump in and jump out so quickly. Does annoy me, but it's nothing insane. Just give her a mana bar. Okay, so we got our skins. Mercenary Katarina is, I don't think it's a huge skin. Like it's really it's basically the same skin, just with new colors. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Red card I think is really stupid, not gonna lie. 3 out of 10. Bilgewater I also think is really stupid, not gonna lie. 4 out of 10. Okay, Kitty Cat Katarina, you know, 6 out of 10. No, nothing needed. High Command Katarina I think is just like too medieval, but it works at the same time, so I'd give it like another 6. And actually I lied, this would be more of a 7 to be completely honest. No, I missed one. Sandstorm Katarina, I kind of like it. I don't really know fully why myself. Like, I think the daggers are okay, but not great. I think I just think it fits what it should be really well, and for that I will give it a 7 out of 10. But it don't look great, but I think it just fits well for some reason. The Slay Bell Katarina, honestly, I think this skin is really nice throughout the entire game. Like, it has the blades look good. The skin itself looks good. It's a good solid skin. I'll give it an easy 8 out of 10. Warring Kingdoms Katarina, yet again, this skin just looks good. It fits well, and it's great. I'll give this one yet again an 8 out of 10, maybe even 9 out of 10. Project Katarina, yet again, looks incredible, is great. 10 out of no, not 10 out of 10. No, 9 out of 10. And even Deathsworn, like this, like the daggers are great. I like the whole kind of like soul hand-esque thing, because it just fits with like the soul daggers really well, in my opinion. I still kind of wish that they had a lot of consistency that they have in a lot of other skins. Uh, maybe never mind. It seems like it was more skins than it really was. Never mind. I was gonna say I kind of wish that they had like a bit more on her back, to be completely honest. But it does look like it has like this part of the blade there, which I is kind of nice. I don't think this one is as good, to be completely honest, as Warring Kingdoms and Project, but I would definitely call it really nice. But I'll put it. It's still good enough to I'd put it in the same category of a solid 8 out of 10. And I'd move these two up actually. I'll give each one of these like 9 out of 10s, and then 8, and then Sworn is 8, and all of these are just like 4, 5, 6, and lower into 7. But yeah, like her skin's just got like better over time, and that's about it. Except for the kitty cat one. That one was kind of back there, which was still a decently good one. Why is there like a million Zeds around? It's like these all. I guess maybe she's fighting Zed at the time, and he used his ult. Okay, but with that, that has been Katarina. A bit of an overview. Like as I said, to be completely honest, I wish she was more of like an AD champion, because everything really she does just screams AD. Like her Q is throwing a blade at you. That doesn't seem like it should do magic damage. Her W is throwing a blade into the air. Her passive is literally she just spins in a circle and slashes everything around her. Her ult is she spins in a circle and throw blades all around her. And her E is the only thing that could be somewhat magical, and she just like teleports. That's it. It's nothing like even insane. So I guess she does also slash you. So even that, like she still slashes. So to be, yeah, I do kind of wish she was more of like an AD champion. Someone that would just kind of like build crit and just kind of run at you. But then I do think she is kind of like too ability focused to be an AD champion, which is the only problem. Like a lot of other, you can see like attack damage assassins will mix in auto attacks, and she couldn't. Her build is just, she can't. um. So because of that, I can't understand her being AP, because she's just way too ability reliant. But at the same time, just yeah. And really, at the end of the day, give her a mana bar. So, if you agree, disagree, liked any of the things I just said, please leave a comment down below. I would gladly get back to that as soon as possible, and have a commentary with you, say what I agree, what I disagree with you, or whatever your ideas happen to be, and so on and so forth. That's with any of the A to Z's. And I'm going to thank you all very much for watching, and I'm going to bid you all adieu. A goodbye.